we started our discussion going back to the question of what is a network, what makes a network work, and just think about what networks can accomplish and what are good ones. And the things we came up with is strong networks are those where there's good storytelling, you hear stories from other people, those that are problem-based, those that have great people at the table and meeting these great people, and those that provide information. So those are great networks. So we were thinking about that. And the reason we went down that road is we were asking, what can a new network add? Why should we even be creating this network? And I would say still sort of uncertain about this, because there's lots of strong networks existing on campus related to environment and sustainability. Institute on the Environment, the Resilient Communities, the Sustainability Faculty Network, the Climate Adaptation Group. There's a lot of different good, strong networks, and so why do we add another one? I think if we did add another one, the goals that we talked about would be really important to help researchers connect to practitioners and to help students make connections to opportunities. And we talked about a lot of different topics, and I don't think we ever narrowed down which topics, but the climate and the energy issues. There's a lot of issues you need to focus in on. So the action item where we landed was talking about internal meetings. Let's come back down to what can we do on campus in a focused way. And if we had internal meetings quarterly that would really be focused on building engagement skills among the environment and sustainability group. Perhaps that would include workshops related to equity and diversity. It might relate to tools that people need to use when they're doing engagement, very practical kinds of tools. And it would certainly involve networking and learning what other people are doing and learning from their experiences. The challenges to running meetings like this, if we were to do quarterly workshops to help build some of these engagement skills, is it would be critical to get the faculty at the table. And how do we make sure there's value for the faculty in doing these kinds of meetings, and getting extension involved, because the whole definition of extension is outreach and engagement, and we weren't entirely certain at the table, how do we connect better to extension in all of this?
We certainly want to make sure that we're anything that comes out of the strategic planning process at the university level, we want to make sure that it's related to sustainability and the environment, that we are keyed into that, and that might give us more focus, might provide more incentive for faculty as well. Well, I guess it depends on the faculty. But we are really struggling with this idea of what value are we bringing unless we can bring the faculty along. How do we bring the faculty along in a way that that's going to add value to what they do and is going to be useful to them. So and then we also talked about sort of the difference that we sort of use research as a big umbrella term, but we have very different kinds of research going on, such as the work the Resilient Communities Project is doing in a particular community that is based on coursework that students are doing versus what faculty may think of as a research project. And take that even and compare that to perhaps what communities need but don't know how to ask for from the University of Minnesota. So, and I think that's a perennial problem, and one we didn't solve at this table today, not too surprisingly. But we recognize the need that, given the realities of climate change, given the aging infrastructure of Minnesota, of the country as a whole, that there are things that need addressing, that we need to be looking at. But we didn't we didn't coalesce around any of that to say this is what we need to do, this is how we need to do it. So I think it's the beginning of a conversation, and hopefully it's one that we're being very strategic, we're being very careful, and we want to make sure that whatever we're doing is going to add value to people who are involved.